my son was first diagnosed, and that kind of changed my life and how I look at raising a child with autism. So I'm going to share with you. Some of you might already have read it before. So this is, I downloaded this from YouTube.
Welcome to Holland, written by Emily Pearl Kingsley. I am often asked to describe the experience of raising a child with a disability, to try to help people who have not shared that unique experience to understand it, to imagine how it would feel. It's like this. When you're going to have a baby, it's like planning a fabulous vacation trip to Italy. You buy a bunch of guidebooks and make your wonderful plans. The Colosseum, the Michelangelo David, the gondolas in Venice. You may learn some handy phrases in Italian. It's all very exciting. After months of eager anticipation, the day finally arrives. You pack your bags and off you go. Several hours later, the plane lands. The stewardess comes in and says, "Welcome to Holland." "Holland?" you say. "What do you mean, Holland? I signed up for Italy. I'm supposed to be in Italy. All my life I've dreamed of going to Italy." But there's been a change in the flight plan. They've landed in Holland, and there you must stay. The important thing is that they haven't taken you to a horrible, disgusting, filthy place full of pestilence, famine, and disease. It's just a different place. So you must go out and buy new guidebooks, and you must learn a whole new language, and you will meet a whole new group of people you would never have met. It's just a different place. It's slower paced than Italy, less flashy than Italy. But after you've been there for a while, and you catch your breath, you look around, and you begin to notice that Holland has windmills, and Holland has tulips. Holland even has Rembrandts. But everyone you know is busy coming and going from Italy, and they're all bragging about what a wonderful time they had there. And for the rest of your life, you will say, "Yes, that's where I was supposed to go. That's what I had planned." And the pain of that will never, ever, ever, ever go away, because the loss of that dream is a very, very significant loss. But if you spend your life mourning the fact that you didn't get to Italy, you may never be free to enjoy the very special, the very lovely things about Holland.
Welcome to Holland, and it touched my heart, and of course I think every parent that have a child with special needs had experienced that heartbreak, that your child is special and you don't know how to raise him or her, and you have to, all your life you've been preparing to raise a particular kind of child, which is maybe a normal child, but you're not prepared to raise a special needs child. So I think, just like the video was saying, the poem was saying that if we accepted it and stopped grieving over the dream that's not going to be, and look at what we have and how to see the beauty that our child has to offer into our life, and then that would definitely help for them to have a better life and for us to have a better life. Hello? Okay. So I'm going to share with you a little PowerPoint that I made for our presentation. It basically is our experience, my experience and FCSN experience for the last 20 years. As you probably heard that next year would be FCSN's 20th anniversary. So I want to kind of refresh everyone, even though I know there are some of you that have been long-term members, and we just want to refresh a little bit our journey as FCSN, help our children to have happiness, and also for our families at FCSN to have peace of mind. And it's all because, you know, we have these lovely children. And a lot of the children that you see in this picture is already in our adult program, because they used to be little kids, but now they're much older kids now. Okay. My son, when FCSN started, was 6 years old. Now he's 26, so just turned 26. The mission of FCSN to help children and adults with special needs and their families to find hope, love, respect, and support through integrated community involvement. And of course, we know that we started as a Chinese family and in organization. And in our culture, there is a stigma and a shame connected with having a child with special needs. And FCSN actually wants to change all that, and so that our children actually will be embracing the community and give the community a chance to embrace our kids as well. That's why we said integrated community involvement. Kind of revolutionary for a group of Chinese families to think this way. So in 1996, we started with 10 families, and we set out to build an entire support system or a supportive village for our children and families. And the idea is to integrate into the community and mobilize volunteers to help our children thrive in our society. We now serve over 800 families in the Bay Area and over 600 adult and children with special needs. And we have over 40 programs in the East Bay and the South Bay, and we are constantly getting requests for us to expand to other parts of the Bay Area as well. Okay, so I'm going to stop here about talking about FCSN, but I want to show you a video that I found very intriguing and very inspirational. So I'm going to show you actually two videos. Okay, bear with me.
It's hard to say what's more striking about Leslie Lemke. His skills as a pianist or his amazing life story. Leslie was born with cerebral palsy and a rare disease that necessitated the removal of his eyes when he was only a few months old. Many might pity, but who could handle the challenge of raising such a child? May and Joe Lemke of Milwaukee, Wisconsin did. They adopted Leslie when he was just 6 months old.
He was very ill, felt that it wasn't going to live, and so they called up May Lemke, who was a nurse governess that they knew about, and asked her if she would take him in to her home, essentially, to die. And she said she'd take him in, but she said he's not going to die.
Using patience and love as their inspiration, Ray and Joe worked with Leslie, attempting to achieve not the miraculous, but the mundane. Functions such as walking, swallowing, and eventually swimming all took effort and endless practice. It seemed the only way Leslie would ever even approach a normal life would be through a miracle. Late at night, one evening, a miracle did occur.
When he was about 14 years old, they watched a Sunday night movie, which happened to be Sincerely Yours, and the theme song is Liberace's theme song, which is Tchaikovsky's First Piano Concerto. They watched, and Leslie listened because he's blind, and they went to bed. And then about 2 or 3 in the morning, May woke and heard some music coming, and she asked Joe, hubby, did you leave the television on though? So she went, and there was Leslie playing Tchaikovsky's First Piano Concerto from beginning to end, having heard it one time.
With perfect pitch and using only 8 fingers, Leslie has played ever since for audiences all over the world.
When he plays the piano, he's communicating. That's his language. And that's the only way he really has to communicate with us.
Leslie is severely disabled, but there's something very special about him.
I said, this boy can't stand, and I'm going to drag him around. I said, so he feels what I'm doing. And he was getting on for 10 and 11 years old. And he was still so tiny. And I stood him by the fence, and he moved. And I saw him go like this. I said, come on, baby. I said, come on to me. Because to me, he was just a baby. That's all he looked like. I said, come on, do another step. Just a step. Come on, walk. Come to me. And he took another step like this, you know, all shaking like this. And he stood like that. Yes.
Another thing May did right was to buy Leslie a musical instrument.
It was a second-hand piano, and I put it in there, and each night I would go in and clean like that, you know. Just me, I'd be doing that. I wasn't playing no music at all, just going up and down like that. And he was around 16 years old. He couldn't talk or walk or anything. And we went to bed, and we heard music. I couldn't believe it. And I said to Joe, I said, did you leave television on? And he said, no. And I got up, you know, thinking I was going to turn off some music. And that boy had got out of that bed. How he did it, I don't know. And he was playing that piano.
How and why Leslie could suddenly play a piano concerto that he had only heard is beyond explanation.
I said, oh, thank you, dear God, that you've remembered to do something for Leslie.
Everybody's beautiful.
The first time he sang was the most important thing I ever heard. He was singing and playing piano, but he couldn't talk with us. What was I doing that time with all the kids singing?
Everybody's beautiful.
Do you know that he did not cry until he was 18 years old? He was sat in that chair, and I saw a tear running down his cheek for the very first time, and I said, what is wrong with you? And he went like this, he says, I'm crying. And it was noises like, oh, like a child that was in the worst misery that had ever been with anybody, and he cried and cried.
On his happy road, if you light up my life.
It's pretty breathtaking, isn't it? Today's seminar, I don't pretend that I have all the answers for everyone, how to discover your own child's talent. But I can tell you one thing is, they can do the things that we cannot imagine that they could do. It's pretty extreme in Leslie Lemke's case, being blind and never been able even to walk or talk, but would be able to play Tchaikovsky's concerto, right? It is very amazing. But I tell you that our kids with special needs, they don't follow our rules. They definitely don't follow our rules. They don't communicate like us. So we don't really understand them all that well. I will go through a little experience that I have. So I hope that it opens a kind of thinking that is outside of the box, so to help our children shine and develop their abilities. So today we saw a miracle kind of happen with Leslie Lemke. There are many miracles that had happened at FCSN. Jia has a child with, I would say, pretty heavily impacted by autism. But she is one of the most brilliant pianists around. So Jia, can you ask Alice to come play a song? You know, she was, right before our seminar, she was just running around, you know, laughing really loudly. And she is currently in the Fremont Unified School District's Modest to Severe class at Mission San Jose High School. And I can just tell you that for many years, I've been in the school district. I know almost all the specialists and teachers. So I know Alice's attention span is a little short, so I'm just gonna basically let Alice do a performance for you guys right now. Okay. And the song she is gonna play on the piano is called Yellow River, a very famous Chinese concerto.
I'll play the map.
Okay, I also want to let you know that my son Lawrence actually really never know any music until 6 years ago from our program at the music camp. He doesn't sing, he doesn't play any instruments, and he is always covering his ears when he hears music. And at our, hang on a second, how do you sing? Okay. But you see, if you don't put them in front of a musical instrument, they run, they do all the things that autistic kids do. Okay. So, Lawrence, can you finish singing before you go to the restroom? Yeah? Okay. All right. And Alice is coming back. So Alice is going to accompany you, and you're going to just sing that one song, okay?
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. And no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace too. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one.
Thank you, Alice. Thank you. Okay, you can go back to class.
I'll play the map.
So, because I have the blessing to witness a lot of miracles that happen at FCSN, so that's why I think I would like to share my experience, how to develop this, the talent, and how to encourage more of these things and more of this kind of development happening to more children and more families. So I think the two slides I'm going to share, everybody have somewhat kind of this kind of knowledge already. I don't have to go and elaborate too much for you before you can understand the following two slides. When do our children show us their abilities? Of course, when they feel they are safe and secure. I think this is not very focused, not sharp, is it?
It's fine.
Okay. And also, when they feel confident and successful, they will be more than happy to show you their abilities, right? And also when they are happy and they are healthy, not when they're sick, then nobody, even us, we don't want to show what we can do when we are not feeling well. And also, I think one of the biggest challenge is there is not enough opportunity presented to them, because they, in society and even in our own family, they are being stereotyped as people with no abilities, and instead of people with different abilities. So not enough opportunities may be presented for them to show what they can do. And a lot of times our kids are not motivated to show you their abilities. So why show you that I can do anything? I don't think you can appreciate it, or I don't get anything out of it. So, you know, when Lawrence right before he comes in to do the performance of Imagine, he says, I get $1. Sing this. Okay, that is his motivation. That's because he get $1. And also, then he says, I said, yes, you get $1. And he goes, ice cream at home. So added incentive for them, for him to perform in front of you guys. I think that actually is being underplayed a lot, because we don't actually know what motivates them a lot of times, and so we don't offer it, right? So even motivation has to be developed. It's one of the techniques to get them to develop their talent. For Lawrence, even practicing the music takes money for me. When he was discovered to have musical talents, the teachers offered to teach him for free, but I have to pay him to go to lesson. So, yeah. I'm sorry. Not too happy. So, actually, you just have to get. So, some of the challenges we already know, and many of you can agree or disagree with this, is because they have a hard time communicating, and they are often misunderstood the way that they communicate to us, whether they like something or they don't like something. And because of our limitation, rather than their limitation sometimes, because we don't understand them. So communication is a challenge. And because they're sensory-wise, they are so much different than our sensory. So sometimes, let me make it more clear. Lawrence, when he hears something, he hears much more than I do. So there are 10,000 things blasting him when he hears music. So whenever he hears music, he would cover up his ears. For me, when I cover up my ear is when the noise is intolerably horrible, so I cover up my ears, right? So I read his covering up his ears as he don't like something or he thinks is intolerable, which actually is partly true, because it gives him a sensory overload when he hears music. So he covers his ears. But I didn't interpret it correctly. I interpreted that he doesn't like it, but in fact, he's trying to filter up some noise so he can handle the music. You see this misunderstanding over there? So sensory deficit, attention deficit. And how many of our kids, cannot sit still for more than 5 minutes, right? A lot of them. So attention deficit as well is a challenge. And maybe they had some bad experience in the past with a particular opportunity we are trying to present to them. There might be a past experience, bad experience that we don't know about. Okay, and also they develop some sort of a habit when they are put in a certain opportunity, such as music class, there are kids that actually constantly hit their head when they are in a music class. And again, we would interpret it as, wow, it drives him crazy, he's hitting himself, but it might actually mean something else. Okay. And also another thing I think a lot of us can relate to is the fear of failure. That actually stopped them right on their path of developing their talent, because they are perfectionists actually. They are afraid of failure, so they'd rather not do it anymore because they think they judge themselves much more than we judge them. So the fear of failure, that anxiety of failing, will stop them from learning and developing their abilities. And they are not easily motivated. So we have to actually, even motivation, we have to help develop too. So, okay, I'm going to stop talking a little bit and show you another video. This video I have sent to FCSN, broadcasted in my weekly announcement about 3 years ago. So for the new members, probably have not seen it. I think this is a very intriguing video. Give me a second.
Carly has been very clear that she sees herself as a normal child, locked in a body that does things that she has no control over.
No, Carly.
In public, everything has to be broken down and planned to control her impulses. In the past, she has wandered off, even stolen things. Side by side with her twin sister, Tara, it would be easy to dismiss Carly as intellectually challenged. That is, until you ask her a question.
Carly, why do autistic kids cover their ears, flap their hands, hum, and rock?
It's a way for us to drown out all sensory input that overloads us all at once. We create output to block out input.
Carly's brain, unlike most people's, is overwhelmed by the senses of sight and sound, taste and smell.
Our brains are wired differently. We take in many sounds and conversations at once. I take over 1,000 pictures of a person's face when I look at them. That's why we have a hard time looking at people. I have learned how to filter through some of the mess.
I said, Carly, can you tell me why you slap yourself? She wrote back that she does it to stop her from doing something that she knows she's not supposed to do.
What is she trying to do?
If she has an impulse to go in and empty out all the drawers in her room and strip her bed, she knows that's wrong. She's written that to me. So she'll hit herself to break the impulse.
But her therapists and family have found better ways to keep Carly's impulses in check by listening to music, swimming, even yoga. The one thing she can control is when and where she'll type.
Oh, this is John. This is John.
And usually she needs to be motivated.
Give me a shot. You're doing great.
When I tried making conversation with Carly, she would not type back.
I'll tell you anything you want to know.
Her finger hovering over the keys for hours, until I brought up my teenage son.
He wants to play football.
Now she's smiling. It's going to be something funny.
Are you embarrassed?
Come on, we want to hear what you have to say. Okay.
Yes, I guess he's cute.
I listen to her probably more than I listen to most other people that I talk to in a given day. She has a tremendous sense of humor.
Hey, hot stuff. Did you dress up for me?
Whoa, hello.
Then there was this recent exchange. Barn, how cute are you? Carly.
I'm so cute, blind people stop and stare.
It's 2 years that we've been communicating, and every time she writes something, there's a little bit of that sense of awe. The room resembled a ship's cabin. It's
Dear Dad, I love when you read to me, and I love that you believe in me. I know I'm not the easiest kid in the world.
Any guess?
However, you are always there for me, holding my hand and picking me up. I love you.
I'll go through many sleepless nights to hear that. I'll spend every penny we have to hear that.
A year after we first met Carly, she is happier, calmer, more independent.
Well, let's get this in the hand.
She's even writing a novel.
I think that humankind is just oblivious to things that have been around for many years.
She also has her own internet blog and Twitters regularly, answering questions from people all over North America.
I think Carly knows that she now has a voice that can help other kids. Now she looks at herself as someone who can make a mark on the world. And that's gotta be life-changing.
What do you want for Carly now?
I want her to be happy. I want her to have dreams and goals and accomplish those goals in spite of her challenges.
I think the only thing I can say is don't give up. Your inner voice will find its way out. Mine did.
Are you guys like emotionally impacted when you see this kind of video? It is constantly giving me, it's like a cheerleader for me. That there are so many things that I have to learn about my own child. And indeed, I learned new things from Lawrence every day. And there are so many things that we don't know about our child that we assume we know. That is scary. That is actually the thing that is stopping them from being who they are, for their real communication to come out. And yeah, any feedback or questions so far? No, I mean, you know, I'm not scary, right? I think just it's a heartfelt kind of experience sharing today. It's nothing that, you know, because I've gone to college or things that I learned, it's some things that I learned as a parent and from our kid with special needs, and especially from my son, for me. So I'm going to continue with the PowerPoint a little bit more. So I already kind of went through some of the challenges, and I think the biggest challenge you can see from the video of Carly is a lot of times they are being misunderstood. Just because they cannot talk, they're being misunderstood as stupid. But in fact, there is so much intelligence in there, and there is some behavior that is so hard to handle for us. But at the same time, you see that she's hitting her head to try to stop herself from doing something that is inappropriate. Then I really had a lot of experience with my son having self-injurious behavior. You know, you see Alice performing so brilliantly, and Lawrence also performed really well, right? But there is another side that they constantly struggle within themselves. And it's hard to believe that Alice has self-injurious behavior and Lawrence has self-injurious behavior. And we constantly teach them what is the right thing to do, and let me back up a little bit. In Chinese, autism is the direct translation is shutting out yourself, closing out the rest of the world and be alone within your own world. 自闭症, right? So that's the direct translation. And I think it's absolutely wrong how we translated autism. Because the kid, I know Lawrence and I know Alice, they are very loving kids. They actually really love to be with people. But people give them sensory overload that they are so afraid of. And people expect so much from them, our own way of expecting so much from them that they cannot handle. And so let me give you an example. So if you have a test tomorrow from school, and the teacher said we're going to go and do an oral exam, I'm just going to give you a question and I'll pick on any one to answer my question, and then you're going to get your grade for your class. So, and you didn't have time to study, so you didn't know any of those answers. So let me ask you, if anyone, when you go to class tomorrow, you're going to stare the teacher into the eye, good eye contact, like, pick me, you know, I got the answer, right? But our kids don't have any of the answers that we want, so they avoid eye contact. Does it make sense? They don't communicate. I finally, after over 20 years, finally understand Lawrence a little bit better, because he is considered a verbal kid. So everybody that we know who is verbal understand what we talk about and answer appropriately, but not Lawrence. Lawrence is so-called verbal, but he answers questions by decoding what comes out of your mouth. Instead of, you know, so whatever you say, he puts it in a category. So how do I know that? You ask him, how are you, how old are you, and where are you? He only hears the word are you. So in this category, it's either I'm 25 years old, I'm fine, or I'm in the bathroom. So, sometimes randomly, he will answer the question wrong because he didn't hear the first word. Is it how are you, or where, or how old? So he can give you a random answer. So, where are you? And he goes, I'm 25 years old. Okay, so that kind of thing. And also, he wants to put things in category. It's either good experience, bad experience. It's either something old or something new. It's always either something good or something bad. But there's nothing in between, because he couldn't define a category that is kind of so fine that it covers all cases. So this is the thing. And also you heard him singing, right? He can also sing very well in Chinese, right? And he can also sing very well in Spanish. Yeah. So, and I go, Lawrence, you are so good with Spanish singing and Chinese singing. You know what he told me? It just sounds like English. Just like sounds like English. So English to him is not a language, it's just a sound, a group of sounds. You see this thing that our understanding of communication and their understanding of communication is different. He would rather point at something than just tell you what he wants. Because language, again, it's very hard for him to come up with the words, because then he has to search his category. Okay? But if he just sees something and he just point, that's immediate communication. So a lot of times they're being misunderstood. That's why we couldn't find their talent, because they're being misunderstood. And also the expectation is an issue, because it's either too high, our expectation for them is too high, and they feel pressured, and they're afraid to disappoint us. So that is an issue. Or if we have no expectation for them, it's also an issue. So why work if you have no expectation that I'm going to amount? So walking that fine line between high expectation and no expectation is very tricky. Yeah, right? So, and also, just like I said, a lot of times our kids cannot find their talent because there's not enough opportunities presented to them for them to find their talent. For Carly's case, you know, not many people even try to get her to communicate through the computer. And she has to find out, she had to connect all this kind of puzzle together to figure out that actually this is not the entire video. If you go on YouTube and say
The Miracle of Carly, Autistic Girl, Nonverbal. Then you get a story that is 15 to 20 minutes long. You will see that nobody expects her to communicate. She just growl and make noise and nonverbal. And there was one time they tried to make her do something and she was actually sick. And then she went to the computer and typed help, H-E-L-P. And then about half a minute later, she threw up because she was not feeling good. So that's the first time ever that they discovered that she couldn't come out and communicate with anybody. And she finally was desperate enough to find that typing on the computer is a way to communicate. You see, yeah. So not enough opportunities presented to them is also an issue. And again, we have our own kind of expectation. Especially in modern day society, everybody expects a child to be able to talk. When you cannot talk, people think you're stupid, just like Carly was saying. And a lot of us work at the high-tech industry in the Silicon Valley. Anybody feel kind of being oppressed because your co-workers can talk up a storm, BS a lot, and get promoted, and you actually are the worker bee that created a lot of working things in your company, and you are not as high in the management ladder or in the technical ladder as some of the BS people. And that is the thing with our autistic kids. It's kind of like that, actually 100 times more oppressed than that, So I think that we can all kind of relate it to. And the misinterpretation, not high enough expectation, or no expectation, that is not good. And also, our kids actually want us to be happy. You know how many of us, so-called normal people, want our parents to be happy with us? A lot of people actually stuck in a career because we just want to please our parents to get our PhD degree. If you have a choice, you probably don't want to get that PhD degree and spend more time in college instead of just going out and just earning money. Or you're stuck you're actually into art and music, and now you're stuck as an engineer, then you work like a dog from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. and go home, and you never eat a full meal at the right time, that kind of thing. And you're not spending enough time with your family. So, that kind of thing, a lot of times, we do as normal people to try to make our parents happy. Autistic kids also want to make parents happy. Even though we have a hard time believing that, we think they're trying to make trouble for us sometimes because of their behavior. But actually they're trying, just like Carla was saying, through her typing, that she had this impulse to empty all the drawers and make a messy room. And she has to beat on her head to try to stop herself, her impulse from continuing and making the whole house so messy, because she knows that mom and dad's not going to be happy with her if she does that. Does that make sense? A lot of times they are just being so misunderstood. It's kind of hurt and caused a lot of sadness when I realized that that's what Lawrence was trying to do when he beat himself up. And also, the lack of opportunities due to our assumptions that they cannot do it. I have taught a student how to set the table, to cook, to eat by herself, and also to clean up after she cooked, after herself. And then I went and visit her house, her family feeds her. She doesn't have to do anything. Because right after they know her diagnosis, they figure out she's a special needs kid. She just needs somebody to serve her all life long. And so they didn't expect her to have to do all those things by herself, to be more independent. But of course, when you come to Auntie Anna's class, hey, I think you do it. Nobody's gonna do it for you. So a lot of times, family also assume that there are certain things that a kid cannot do. If you recall the Leslie Lemke's video, even her mom, his foster mom, so loving, did not expect him to play this piano concerto after listening to it once, right? Of course, sometimes when you set up the right environment and you wait long enough, things will happen. Not necessarily because you have done something, but all we need to do is present enough opportunities and not ever give up hope. You know, the last thing here, and focus that they are happy. When they are happy, remember when we said, when will they show you that their abilities? When they are happy, when they are healthy, when they are being understood and constantly giving the attention that they should have, then things will happen. A lot of times, if they have internal abilities, it will show up. It might not show up. Let me put it this way. When Lawrence was a little kid, so everybody in preschool was holding pencil, at least try to scribble. Even if you grab your pen like that and stab the paper and try to scribble, some kids were already doing that, but not Lawrence. Have no incentive to, doesn't grip anything, doesn't do anything. We have OTs working with him for 2 years, can't even hold the pencil. So as a parent, I kind of, maybe he'll never be able to write anything because look, his fine motor is so poor, he's not even holding anything. And then one day, when he was 5.5 years old, on my carpet, he scratched out the words, "No trucks over 5 tons on Mission Boulevard East." He used his finger and scratched on the thick carpet, all those words. And then, so he did that for a whole week. So he scratched the carpet, and I applaud him every time he does the little chicken scratch on the carpet. It doesn't harm the carpet because it's only his finger, right? Then after 1 week, I vacuumed it. It's clean. This old carpet has no scratch mark. So he was, like all autistic kids, you try to disrupt their little routine things, they would be very unhappy. And I said, Lawrence, from now on, I don't want you to do the carpet. If you want to write, here's the paper, here's the pencil, write on the paper. He just grabbed the pencil, hold it the correct way, and wrote it. In Chinese saying, there is you don't follow the rules to play cards. 不安排出牌. Right? You don't follow the rules to play cards. Our kids don't follow any rules. Playing cards or not playing cards, So, who knows? As long as we don't give up and keep on presenting different opportunities and be very observant of what they can do and try to encourage them, and things will happen. I really believe that. So at FCSN, we have all kinds of things that help our kids present more opportunities. We have work empowerment program, and now in the computer area, we have QuickBooks, teaching them QuickBooks, computer animation, and computer gaming things. So, no, those are for older kids, okay. The younger kids, parents, don't be so happy yet. Okay, but we have a lot of things for younger kids. We are trying Right now we're developing another group of parents so that they can promote social skill within the little kids class at FCSN, the playgroups. And these kids, you know, this is one of our first playgroup when we opened the center in 2006. And all these kids, I will let you know what happened to them a little bit. A lot of them are brilliant with social skill right now. Yoga class, sports. We actually have one of the sports coordinator, Uncle Terrence, who is going to speak a little later. He's been organizing the ping pong class at the city of Alameda for the last 8 years or something. 6 years, and a lot of $1 per class.
Wow.
And even include paddle and ping pong balls and all those things. Each class, an hour and 45 minutes. Right. So crazy. I'm telling you this is because he's a parent, he's a volunteer, and when your kid has developed into, you know, a certain extent, I want everybody to chip back in and help other families. I know I look very young, but I'm getting old too. So I want all families to continue to help kids with special needs, because when you have a child with special needs, it's like God gives you a mission to learn how to take care of your family and your kids along with FCSN family, and you have a mission to also teach other families how to take care of their kids and family. So very important. I've been a volunteer, so go ahead and volunteer. You think, you know, Terrence earned any money by offering the class for $1? No money. So. And we have music class, and Alice's talent was developed in music class. Of course, her interest in the music was already there, but she found her piano teacher who brilliantly developed her skills and talent in music. For the last 6 years, was this 6 or maybe 9 years? Oh gosh, your Alice's piano teacher.
I'm sorry, 7 years.
7 years was from FCSN's music camp. Yeah. So, and my son's music teacher also from FCSN's music camp. And we are, I think God has given us, FCSN, a blessing that it sent brilliant people to help our kids with special needs. So. And we had drama camp, and we just had our 4th drama camp this year. The first year we had Lion King. The second year we had Wizard of Oz. The third year we had Finding Nemo. And the 4th year, which is this year, we have Toy Story. Can you tell me what those things over there are? Do you know what they are? They are the aliens from Pizza Planet. Okay. So, and our kids love them. Love to be in the camp.
It was really good production.
It was a good production, right? You know why it was such a good production? The parents made the costume. So I don't want it to be like FCS and provide everything, because I will go through who is FCSN anyway. It's us, the parents, the volunteers, you know, and then we also have professional staff for our adult program. But don't look around who's FCSN, it's you guys, okay? So it was a good production because all the families chipped in and made sure the kids memorize the lines and practice the dances and sing the songs, and that's why we have a good production. So some of the effective tools, I believe, is always using visual things to help them. Just like Lawrence, I don't want him to constantly sort through his categories to try to give you an answer. If there's something visual, it's quick and it's rewarding for them to communicate through visual stuff. So the script that from drama camp, we give them right ahead of time so they can read through the script, memorize it, and then they don't have to stumble and try to hear all the prompting on their lines and stuff like that. And try to make everybody excited, including the student. Enthusiasm truly rubs off on people. So you want the kids to be excited about whatever class you want them to be in. So even the parents have to drum up that excitement at home already so that they are more engaged, participate more fully when they do come to class. And the class, other people might do it differently, but this is the way I do it. I always, knowing our kids have short attention span, our class is always short. It's not ever going to be longer than necessary. Why I always think like that is, our drama camp, our music camp, how many days are we in camp? 3 days. How many hours are we in camp per day? 1.5 hours. 1.5 hours for 3 days. The 4th day, we perform. There is a time pressure there. They love, for example, Toy Story, they love the story so much. And they are so proud to be part of it. The motivation is there to be able to deliver the lines of their favorite character. And so that is real motivation. And you don't have to agonize it through several months, but you just have 3 days to work on it. The whole family work on it with you. And so the excitement there, and when you actual show happen, and the kids deliver, the sense of self-esteem, confidence, and just excitement just cannot describe it. Yeah. So, and also when you have a shorter program, it's easy to make it a good experience. And every time we had the drama camp show, when is it gonna be, and what is gonna be next year's show gonna be about? And they're already thinking about it. And so that is very important. They're longing for more. And if you have 又长又臭, it's too long and it's too draggy, and people don't want it anymore, right? So it's good to have a short and brilliant one than long and people will say, oh, when it's going to be over, that kind of feeling. It involves the whole family, all the volunteers and youth volunteers, and it's a very exciting time. Those are effective tool when you present opportunities for them to develop the abilities, to make sure that there's enough visual cues, enough drumming up the excitement, it is short and is structured, so people know when it's going to be over, and they intensively work on things and involve the whole family and make it a good experience and leaving people longing for more. So, very important. So, I want to also show you a video that we just made for our 20th anniversary. It shows that who is FCSN and all who wants their special needs loved ones to bloom and live happy life. That's FCSN. And what we can do as a group.
Years ago, a young couple was told that their 3-year-old son had special needs. They were devastated, but determined. They joined together with 9 other families and started FCSN in Silicon Valley. It was 1996, and their dream was to build a community where their special needs loved ones could thrive with hope, love, respect, and support through integrated community involvement. A place where the parents could learn, together, how to nurture and teach their special needs children as they became adults. A place that would give the parents peace of mind, knowing that someday when they were gone, their child would have a safe and loving place to grow old. Now, as we celebrate 20 years of laughter, joy, and community, we invite you to explore the possibilities of lifelong services for your special needs loved ones, with programs that range from music, arts and sports, to computers, vocational training, and even a family support program. There are programs for all ages, ranging from children to adults. Our special needs loved ones live, work, and play in this warm and caring environment. They wake up every morning with purpose and develop their talent and abilities. FCSN has adapted to the needs of its individuals. As we work hard to make FCSN a universal model, we need your support. California's special needs population has doubled over the last 15 years. Funding to support this population has diminished. Currently, we serve over 800 families of children with special needs. Dare to dream? Join us. Be our friend and support us. For more information, visit us on our website, www.fcsn1996.org, and find out how you can help spread the word and make dreams become reality.
Okay, you see that actually all the people in the videos, they are all part of FCSN's different programs. All the kids, all the adults. You can see there are old adults with special needs with FCSN as well. Being a parent is a lifelong thing. I am a child to my mom, and she always still treats me like a child. And having a child with special needs, you don't just think about settling them down in one program, but you want them to be happy lifelong. And so you make sure that there is a system with programs that support their needs lifelong. And that's what FCSN is all about. And I am very proud and blessed to be part of FCSN, and hope you guys are too. And I think that's what we are trying to do. And let's continue a little bit and tell you a little bit more. So I am just saying, providing them the opportunities, and also don't give up hope. And also your expectation is very important to them. And knowing that they fear a lot of different things, your disappointment, and they're not meeting your expectation, that actually plays into account whether they can succeed or not. I think, for example, Leslie Lemke, that actually the foster mom did not expect that much from him, but she has bought him that piano where she doesn't even know how to play piano. She just went from all the 88 keys, just went from one after another and played it for several years. Just every day, going through the scales with him. And I don't know how God made all that connection in his head, and it was letting him play that concerto, Tchaikovsky concerto. It's just amazing story. Sometimes I also think that we are conditioned, and we are more disabled than they are, because it seems like that if they can have a brain doing those things, that somehow we have the kind of brain that did not access that part of the brain that can do that. And it depends on how you look at disability. It seems like we are disabled in that area, where Leslie Lemke is enabled in that. But when they are born in our world, in our society, they are being judged. Their abilities are being judged by our standard, which is very unfair. Okay, I want to go through, since we are building this supportive village, and it's a community building effort, I want to go through the Dream Project a little bit, because that's what we are trying to accomplish, is that we bring out a happy life for them, and also be able to show that their abilities and be a contributing citizen in the community. And we have to go through the Dream Project of FCSN, because you guys are going to all be part of the Dream Project. Our Dream Project is to build this support system and community building with all the FCSN family, not just a handful of them, but all of them. Even though not all the families are as involved as maybe a handful of families, but I hope always the invitation is there for all the families of FCSN to get involved, because it's for all the children, not just 1 or 2 children. And our programs are designed by parents and driven by parents, and to make sure that our kids can live, work, and play in the community. So we have Dream Project 1, which is building this village with a visual model. So we have a center here. It's all built by FCSN volunteer family. We fundraised for 4 or 5 years and just completely built this. And also, I don't know if you know that there's apartments in the back. And those are built by FCSN families' private money. It's not through fundraising, it's from their own investment to build apartments, housing, so that the adult children can live over there and can come to programs over here, which is a safe and kind of a visual model of a support village kind of thing. So, nearby housing. And 2006, we finished building this center and also the apartments in the back. And the apartments in the back has 10 units of apartment with 4 bedrooms in each unit, so there's 40 bedrooms. And kids come to program here at the center, live over there at the apartments, or it's actually pretty full right now in the back apartments. Some of them are living in a nearby apartment close to the center, and it's a visual model of a blissful community, and our kids are happy. And that's what we want, right? And we are working on Dream Project 2, and we are running into financial kind of issues because the state government is not very cooperative in funding some of the things that we want to do, but that doesn't stop us because we are parents. We're not giving up, So the Dream Project's idea is to provide meaningful employment for our adult kids with special needs, and make sure we give it a good try to explore their talent and abilities. Make sure whatever career or job or even volunteer work that they involve in will promote their self-esteem, and it's a rewarding job, and it has job security. Actually, being fired from a job is detrimental to us if we got fired from a job. Imagine for a special needs child to be fired from a job is absolutely detrimental for them. And it takes years to recover and heal. So we want to, Dream Project 2 wants to make sure there's job security connected to the job that we develop for them. And it would be a job that is free from being bullied. Our kids are so vulnerable. They're bullied in school, they're bullied, in job situation as well. And hope that the job can provide happiness and satisfaction for them. sometimes I hear from parents, this is, my job doesn't provide happiness and satisfaction for me either. But, hey, a lot of times I said, well, we as parents, we can take anything, but don't touch my kid, I want much better things from my kid. So I think a lot of preparation actually for our children for employment has to be done at home. A lot of times people they always keep on thinking, okay, the school system, school district is going to prepare them for work. I don't think so. There are a lot of disappointment over there. And also, a lot of times they'll say, okay, the regional center is providing opportunity for them to be able to work. Wrong again. Department of Rehab? Wrong again. Not much opportunity there. Okay, so a lot of times we have to prepare our kids for successful employment at home and focus on their abilities. And a lot of it's sad that some of the parents, when their kid is not that verbal, and the kid is already 18, and they are still trying to get them to talk right. Why don't, instead of beating on a dead horse, why don't we focus on what they can really do? That's very important. Train the children on work-relevant skills is very important. Don't train them that something that is completely useless in a job. Train them what they should be able to pick up after themselves. Hygiene is actually important too, if you think about it. If you want them to work in the community and for the employer to hire them, there are some soft skills like know how to groom yourself and stay clean and not be smelly all day long is one of the things that you need to train at home. Very important, yes. And also understand the value of money. Now, everybody just understood that my son knows the value of money. He keep on negotiating with me what he's gonna get after just before he sings that song. I have students who have high abilities, but they don't care if they earn money or not. And one kid had a very good union wage job, and that he went to school to get trained. He got the job, and then 2 months later he quit the job by himself. The employer had no intention to fire the kid. The kid quit by himself, and I thought, come on, it was so hard to get you in that job. Why did you quit? He goes, yeah, because I have a group of friends that want to play games at 3 o'clock, and it was my shift, and my shift is not over at work at 3 o'clock, and I cannot, meet up with my friends to play games. Okay, so we understand some of the priority issues here with some of our kids, high-functioning kids. And then I go, well, your friends have to reschedule, okay? You have to work. And I said, you quit your job now, where are you going to get your money? And he goes, from mom, like I always do. No, see, this is not what you want. You don't want them to rely on mom to get the money all the time. You want them to be independent and get their own money. Okay, so training them to love money is very important. I know Chinese parents tell you, hey, don't always love money. You have to, autistic kids, you actually need them to love money. So that would become the natural reinforcement for doing real work, which would be good to be independent. Training them to follow instruction and use incentive at home. So how do I train Lawrence to love money so much so he would do anything for money? Is because I pay him for everything at home. So at first, when he was really little, we had token economy. Everybody know about token economy, where you did something right, you get a sticker. And then later on, I turned all the sticker into money. And so, okay, you did something right, you get 5 stickers, you get a quarter. And so if you did, several things right, so you get $1, right? Because all the quarters add up. And then immediately we go to McDonald's to buy fries. So he, I do something right, I get fries. That's how it translates. And to buy fries, you need the money. And so that's how that was taught. It turned out to be real useful. He works 3 part-time jobs, so he works about 15 hours a week. And then he performs music during the weekend. And all that, he earns money. So earning money actually has much more benefit, but no time to talk about that. It actually earns you better medical insurance. I will explain it next seminar, which is December the 12th. We have a specialist from the Social Security Office to explain how making your child work will earn some work credits that will make them get much better health benefit, which is very important, right? Yeah. Because if you only have Medi-Cal, then you are only gonna be in that network of Medi-Cal providers, which is very far and few in between, and you don't know what kind of quality those providers providing. Okay. And then also, when you train them to do something, have them practice at home and volunteer them into your relative's home and also friend's house to do it so that they get more practice. And I'm not going to go through everything today. This is just kind of when we went through the Dream Project 2, some of the assessment of different abilities from our kids at FCSN. So have art, music, reading ability, memorization, working with animals. And I said, how do you know that they have abilities to work with animals? And, he loved walking the dog, and don't laugh, because dog walkers earns $25 per half an hour. Earns more money than me, right? So for each hour you walk one dog, it's $35 an hour. Wow, pretty good one. Hey, so yeah. See, you have to think outside of the box. So you just have to walk like 3 dogs in one day. You earn over $100 a day. Not bad, right? So something to think about. So computer, assembly work, gardening, graphics, art, SketchUp, decoding, all those things. Some people actually think that their kids will be the next best computer hacker. And everybody probably have heard that FCSN started something, especially Got Talent this year. We're going to do it again next year. Flyers posted around FCSN, and the entry forms are going to be available on our website at FCSN1996.org starting December 1st. And please, come and compete and get them into the experience. Maybe not winning when you're competing the first time. There's always the goal of this particular event is to provide a platform where they can show off their abilities. Maybe it's not up to the winner's level yet, but it's something to create excitement, something to work toward. That's very important. And provide opportunity to actually for people who are ready to be superstars to actually shine and be recognized by the world and maybe, hopefully, have gainful employment. Do you think maybe Alice, people will pay money to hear her play her songs? Yeah, right? It's brilliant. So actually FCSN has a band called the Dream Achievers, and they've been earning money, I would say probably close to $1,000 a month, just performing in the community in the Bay Area. And also, this particular event provides motivation and hope for people to reach for the star, and it is a rewarding experience for having a chance to compete. Always, you know, the community is not offering this kind of chance for our special needs kids. FCSN will try their best to offer it. Okay, so I am going to go through this part a little later in another event, like next time when we have the SSI speaker come and talk about SSI, and we can talk about how parents can create a career opportunity for their child so that they can continue to earn SSI and at the same time earn up to $7,500 a year of income without even a cent taken out of the SSI. Interested? At the same time, also earning work credits toward Medicare benefit, which offers a whole different selection of that will be our the care for our kids. So very important. So to Uncle Terrence to talk about a special application for